All right, guys, so I just finished returning the S15 at Amorishiro's rental car company. I'll leave a link down below. So I wanted to give you an impression of the overall experience, the vehicles themselves. So I rented an EK9 Civic and an S15 Silvia. The EK9, the Civic Type R, had suspension, intake, exhaust, gearing, hard motor mounts. It was a tuned car, and more than likely it was probably somebody's weekend track car, the way it was set up. So that's how it drove. Now, I wasn't disappointed. I fully expected it. It's exactly what I was looking for. So I liked it. I enjoyed it. Now the S15, on the other hand, the only thing it had done was an exhaust. So suspension was stock, everything else. It was a spec R. It was really, really smooth. Easy to drive, a ton of power, built boost real quick, and anytime you wanted to go, you just jumped on the pedal and it got going. So I really enjoyed both cars. The rental car company itself, super easy, very convenient. Everybody there is really nice. I didn't have any issues with the rentals, didn't have any issues picking them up, dropping them off, anything like that. So the overall experience was actually really good. The price was good. At the time, I was a little bit more than $100 a day. Usually I rent a car. Usually it was, you know, just a regular old rental car, and I think I was roughly around like 65, 70 US a day. So for an extra 30 bucks a day, I got to drive a really fun car. Now, between the two, it's really hard to say. Again, the Civic was more tuned, and it was enjoyable for that. But the Silvia was super, super smooth. Was really easy to drive on the freeways. Had a ton of power when you needed it. Now, which one would I recommend? Really, you can't go wrong. If you're gonna do a lot of driving, I would take the S15. If you're just taking it out for a day and you really want to just rip on a Honda, the EK9 is a ton of fun. If you're just taking it down to the PA, you know, driving it around the highway a little bit, coming back, no problem. I drove the Honda a little bit more than 500 kilometers, drove it up to Motegi Circuit, drove it around down through Tokyo and everything else. And then the Silvia, I drove about 750 kilometers. So I put a lot more mileage on the Silvia. I drove that all the way down around Mount Fuji, of course the PA, Nissan Heritage. I did a lot of stuff in the Silvia. But completely worth it. Gas, make sure and budget yourself for gas, because when I just filled up the S15 before returning it, it was I only had about a quarter tank, and it cost about, almost $70 US to fill it. And in the 700 plus kilometers I did, it took about a tank and a half. So I was probably a little over $100 just in gas. The Civic was the same way. The Civic took, I think, about 3/4 of a tank by the time I was done. So budget yourself for gas, budget yourself for tolls. Every time you're going to the PA, you're probably going to spend almost $20 just in tolls. So, one, definitely rent a car. If you enjoy driving, if you want to get around to some places in Tokyo that aren't as easy to get to, if you want to visit the PAs, rent a car. 100%. It's a great experience. I found going out and driving around Japan is much more enjoyable. Now, parking is sometimes a little difficult. Stopping for food, stuff like that isn't quite as easy as when you're on foot, but completely worth it. There's plenty of parking, you just got to find it. Make sure your rental that you're at, where you're staying, has parking, or you research the parking that's around there first. I got lucky because I stayed at the same place I've stayed before. I know they have street parking that's available after 7 p.m. and I didn't get home from the PAs until well after 10, sometimes after midnight, so I didn't have a problem with parking. I found parking every night, didn't have to pay for it or anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you like the driving videos and impressions I gave. Leave a comment in the section below. Subscribe. I'm gonna have a ton of content on Japan and my time here, so let me know what you guys think.